Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Gentoo, your source for all things video game and tech related. I'm Cade Cox.
And I'm Keegan Cooper. Let's get right into this week's new releases. You can see these games and many more released throughout the week on your favorite platforms.
This week we have a big release for Nickelodeon fans everywhere. A new 2D action platformer and EA's yearly football release.
Madden?
Nope, the other football. FIFA 21 releases for the PC, PS4, and Xbox One on October 9th. Take control of all your favorite footballers once again, as well as usual new updates to gameplay like better dribbling mechanics, and also new additions to Volta Football, Career Mode, and everyone's favorite trading card game, FIFA Ultimate Team.
Nickelodeon's Kart Racers 2 Grand Prix releases on the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on October 6th. Take control of over 30 different fan-favorite Nickelodeon characters like SpongeBob, Danny Phantom, and JoJo Siwa? You can also race with up to 8 people in online multiplayer across any of these games' 28 tracks.
Foregone releases on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on October 5th. Foregone is a fast and fluid 2D action platformer packed with legendary loot and stunning pixel art. Collect an arsenal of powerful weapons and upgradable skills, then use them to shoot and slash your way through the handcrafted pixel environments, hiding a treasure trove of secrets.
These games and many more will be releasing throughout the month, so be sure to be on the lookout for them.
Up next, check out X-Gen with Dalton.
Hello everyone and welcome back to X-Gen. This week we are back with another title from the publisher everyone loves to hate, Electronic Arts. Titanfall 2 for me was an incredibly underrated game when it launched, but years after its release people finally realized how great it was. A huge part of this game's woes at launch were because it was sandwiched between two other huge first-person shooter launches, with one of those games being Battlefield 1, which is published by EA! They were effectively taking money out of their own pockets by releasing these two huge games right next to each other. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare came out a week later, which of course will take sales away because people will buy Call of Duty no matter how bad it is, and Infinite Warfare was definitely an absolute stinker. The huge difference between Titanfall 1 and Titanfall 2 is that the second installment did actually have a single-player campaign. In this story, you take control of Jack Cooper, a Titan pilot voiced by Matthew Mercer, who also voices McCree in Overwatch as well as Pain in the Naruto games. Cooper takes over as the pilot of Titan BT-7274 when his mentor is killed in action. Jack then is tasked with completing the mission of his mentor, which is to stop the IMC from using the Fold weapon, which uses time displacement to destroy entire planets, and his home planet Harmony is the first target. The campaign is a really fun time, utilizing all the great movement and gunplay and Titan play that made the first game great, but this time put together with a great story and the friendship a man has with his giant killing machine robot. There's also huge levels with lots to explore using your parkour abilities, and some levels even make use of a time travel feature related to the Fold weapon. This campaign really did end up totally shattering my expectations, as I did kind of expect it to be another cookie cutter, terrible plot type campaign like Call of Duty had been putting out at the time. This game did a fantastic job of improving on what was already a pretty solid experience the first time around. As a pilot, you're able to zip around the map, whether you're just using your jump booster kit or you're making use of grappling hooks and zip lines to even further speed up your movement across the map. You of course get your choice between the usual AR, SMG, and sniper type weapons that most FPS games have, but each person has the option to equip an anti-Titan weapon, whether it be a grenade launcher or something like a high-energy laser rifle. All of these are of course just means to an end, with the end being you hopping into your Titan so you can do fun things like walk up to a group of AI controlled bots and punch them till they explode, or taking out other Titans with giant grenade launchers, flamethrowers, and if you really want to get up close and personal, a sword. Of course as a pilot you have the aforementioned anti-Titan weapons, but my favorite way to take down those pesky Titans is to just hop on and take one for a ride. Your pilot will grab the batteries out of the Titan, making them about as effective as a TV remote without a set of double A's. This game really plays, in my opinion, the way that a fast-paced, action-packed shooter should play. As far as my experience goes, I must admit it. When this game came out, I was a fool. I passed on this game because I thought Call of Duty would hold my attention better. I was so incredibly wrong. Infinite Warfare sucked, and I didn't realize how good this game was until I found it for $5 on the store one day. My personal favorite Titan to use in this game is definitely Ronin. Of course other Titans get cool things like jetpacks and lock-on missiles, but Ronin gets to use a sword, and really, I shouldn't need anything else to persuade you on this. The release of Apex Legends really rekindled my love for this game because while I'm terrible at Apex, I do love the Titanfall world, so that gave me the itch to hop back on Titanfall 2 with my friends and actually play a game where I can get some wins. There are few things more fun in this game than running around and punching every grunt in sight and executing any doomed Titans that have overstayed their welcome. I would definitely be disappointed if Apex Legends ended up being the last game within the Titanfall universe, as I can only imagine all the crazy levels and maps Respawn could make using the hardware the next-gen consoles will bring to the party. I can tell you one thing for sure though, this will not be the last episode of X-Gen, because I will see you next week.
Hello and welcome to Steam on a Budget. I'm Drew, and this week I'll be covering Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead 2 is a zombie survival shooter that came out in 2009. In Left 4 Dead 2, you and 3 other survivors must fight through a horde of undead while trying to escape for your lives. This game is split into many different campaigns. They're all part of one big overall story. Now I know there's many zombie games out there, and I felt I needed to have one that's well worth your time. And Left 4 Dead 2 is definitely that. The main standout feature of this game is that it has a more arcadey feel than other games. You can single-handedly fight off massive hordes that would eliminate small towns, and the characters are able to take hits over and over without being phased. This game was also made with the same people who made Portal 2, so you can expect the same amount of quality. First, let's go over the good. This game is fun. When playing it for footage, I found time flying. It's easy to get lost while playing and for time to fly by. The way everything feels is perfect, and down to running and jumping, everything is smooth. Each weapon is different and creative, and all the levels are fun and interesting. And the special infected spice things up a bit too. They add a bit of a challenge. It does its job, and it does it well. Another thing Left 4 Dead 2 does really well is the special infected. I touched on this previously, so let me explain. In Left 4 Dead 2, there are 2 standard infected, which are your normal zombies, eat flesh, brains, that sort of thing. Then there are the special infected. These zombies have crazy abilities that take way more damage to kill overall. Some can incapacitate you, and others can throw huge boulders at you. Most of the time, the player doesn't even know they're coming. It spices up the standard gameplay and is a source for many funny moments with friends. Lastly, the defining feature of this game is its multiplayer. When playing alone, you're accompanied by 3 other NPC characters, but when you're playing with friends, the friend will take the spot of one of the NPCs. The multiplayer aspect is the main draw of the game for sure. The hijinks that occur during multiplayer gameplay are what this game exists for. Nothing beats fighting off undead hordes with your friends. You can tell this was the main focus. Lastly, let me go over the bad. The main complaint I've had so far is that the game hasn't aged too well. It has a weird formatting problem where the screen size and the graphics look blurry and are weird compared to modern visuals. I have a feeling it's because of the age. It came out in 2009 after all. It also isn't getting any more developer content, but there is a flourishing mod community that is still active. Overall, the game is great, and it will get you many hours of multiplayer fun. The gameplay is smooth, the special infected switch things up real nice, and the campaigns are fun and interesting. I can definitely recommend it. This is Drew, and thanks for watching Steam on a Budget.
Tecmo Bowl. Tecmo Bowl. Tecmo Bowl. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the 4th week of Tuck Talks. This week, if you haven't figured it out already, we're talking about Tecmo Bowl. Now you're like, Tucker, what's Tecmo Bowl? And for those that have been living under a rock, Tecmo Bowl is one of the best games of all time. No, it's not personal opinion. When the game was first released, 12 members of the Nintendo staff even ranked it as one of the top 100 games of all time. Tecmo Bowl was the first ever football game that included real NFL teams and real NFL players. Tecmo Bowl involved 12 of the most popular football teams that were around at the time of the game's release. Now, sorry Chiefs fans, but Kansas City during the 1990s, not that popular. But what the game did have was a team that had one of the most broken characters of all time, possibly outside of Madden 2004's Michael Vick. But this player was none other than the glitch himself, Bo Jackson. Why is Bo Jackson so broken, Tucker? Like, what makes you say that? Well,
crowd silent now, as opposed to when the Saints have the ball. Oh, look at this run! What a run! Marshawn Lynch still on his feet. Has blockers now. He's dancing his way.
That's why Bo Jackson's so broken. Just popped off like a 80-yard run right there. Could have scored, but I didn't want to. So. And like, Tucker, what's so special about Tecmo Bowl? Like, why is it way better than Madden? The quarters are only a minute and a half. You just pick a play, and you run it. However, the clock stops after every single play, which I think is kind of annoying because I kind of just want to get a game in, hurry up, next game. But to each their own, right? I just want to score a touchdown right with Bo Jackson. You have 4 plays to choose from. 4. Not an entire playbook, 4 plays. Run 1, run 2, pass 1, and pass 2. On defense, it's 4 plays again. You get their playbook, and you just have to pick what play you think they're going to run. And then the extra point was so simple too. You just press A, and as the bar goes up, you press A again, and you kick it. Like, this game is so simple. It was so hard to mess up on it. Okay, that's not going to go in. So that's it. Pretty simple. Simple game, simple Tuck Talks, nothing to it. Highly recommend you check out the game. Highly recommend you play with Bo Jackson because you truly have not lived if you have not used Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl. That's going to do it for this week's video. Hope to see you guys next week. Peace.
I really was not expecting this, but I gotta say, I'm very happy with Nintendo's choice. Hello everyone, and welcome back to High Fives, the show that lets me shove my unwanted opinion on video games into the mix and put them in a top 5 format. Now recently, Minecraft Steve was revealed to be the newest fighter in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, putting him up against all kinds of new characters. But before he encounters these new foes, let's take a look back at the top 5 enemies from his own game. At number 5, we're starting off with the Vex. These little guys only spawn in woodland mansions from another mob called the Evoker. The Vex will normally spawn in groups of 2 to 4, flying through walls and floors like ghosts. This mob is certainly creative, but because of its annoyance to fight, due to its size, numbers, and speed, I can't help but place it on the low end of this list. At number 4, we have the Ravager, a bull-shaped animal that can absorb tons of damage, as well as dealing a lot of its own. This creature only spawns in village raids alongside the Illager mobs, making this fight an almost full-fledged boss battle. Despite the Ravager being sometimes difficult to counter, I find that this mob really does give me a run for my money, challenging me in ways that this game rarely ever does. In the number 3 spot, we have the Piglin. This humanoid creature spawns in medium to large size groups and can only be found in the Nether. Despite this mob being hostile, its love for gold makes it so that if you are wearing golden armor or drop anything made of gold, the Piglin can pick it up and will not attack you. You can even trade with this mob by dropping gold items for it, in which it might give you something random in return. This mob's unique aspect gives it a nice charm and puts it in at the number 3 spot. At number 2, we have the Ender Dragon. This gigantic mob is very unique because it's the literal final boss of the game. This dragon can only be found in the end, in which there is only one that spawns in each world. The mob is also the strongest when it comes to taking and dealing damage, making this fight really feel like you're in the home stretch. The only downside with this boss is that you can only find one per world, legitimately at least. But it wouldn't be a final boss battle if you were able to just find them left and right. Now taking the number 1 spot, we have the...
Creeper. Oh man.
The OG enemy, one of the most iconic foes in recent gaming history. This green ticking time bomb is my favorite mob because of its simplicity. The creeper can only spawn in the overworld, in which, as its name implies, it creeps up on you silently, and once it gets too close... Another unique aspect to this mob is if in the rare chance that it is struck by lightning, it can become supercharged, causing its damage to be 1.5 times stronger than normal. And with all of that being said, this puts the Creeper in at the number 1 spot. Thank you all very much for watching this episode of High Fives. My name is Chris Young, and I will see you in the next installment.
Welcome to This Week, Virtual and Reality, and I'm your host, Derek Campbell. This week we will be focusing on the sport tennis, so let's get into some gameplay and see how I did. To start us off with, the only way my opponent in the game could score on me is if I hit the ball out of bounds, because for the life of me I could not figure out how to put spin on the ball to make it curve back into the court. And other times that I got scored on were when the crowd got too excited for me to handle, and it distracted me to where the ball would go right past me. I did end up scoring a couple of times in each of my matches though, due to my superior skill of making my opponent hit the ball out of bounds this time instead of me doing it for them. Where I really struggled in the game though is when I had to serve. I kept getting fault after fault after fault. I even mixed in a let there where the ball just scrapes across the net when I had to serve. And it was just really frustrating to deal with. It was one of the reasons that I could not win a single match to save my life. So if you need me to win a tennis game for you, do not ask me to do it. Well, that concludes us being in the virtual world. I'll see you guys next up in the reality. I had to replace the audio for this week due to the wind taking over the sound, but I just got done in the virtual world, and I'm playing against Julia in a point-for-point setup instead of an actual regular tennis matchup. We started off by warming up against each other with some back and forth volleying to warm up the arms and see if I could adjust my baseball swing into a tennis swing before we got started. When we did eventually get started, I gave up the first point to Julia by sailing it over her head. I could return the ball on the first swing, but when she would return it back, I struggled to hit the ball back when I had to move my feet to the ball. I missed some of Julia's returns, but my hustle was a key thing that I had during our game, and I thought I did it good into potentially getting me to hit the ball. When it came to serving, I had a couple of good serves at the beginning of our games that we played, but Julia was just as good on the returns of my serves at placing the ball just out of my reach and making me move to different spots of the court. Sadly though, my struggles from the game carried into the real world where it is just as hard to serve. I think I was never meant to serve in the game of tennis. I gave up a couple of points to Julia by hitting the ball way too hard and sailing them over her head for no chance of a return, but I did eventually score my one and only point that I had on her for the whole time that we played. When I asked Julia what she thought I could improve on for my future tennis games that I might have, she said that my backhand swing was weak when I had to use it and could be a little stronger, but she did like that I had a good forehand swing moving towards the ball. She also said that I should be on my toes more when waiting for the ball coming towards me. Well, that is all the time that we have this week, so I'll see you guys next week on Virtual and Reality, and I'm your host, Derek Campbell.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of Project Delta. Once again, I'm your host, Dalton Speece, and with me this week is
Cade Cox.
Now, Cade, at the beginning of September, it was announced that 3 Mario games would finally be getting ported to Switch, and those games are Super Mario 64, which we're playing right now, Super Mario Sunshine from the GameCube, and Super Mario Galaxy. They all ended up coming out. It was from the time they were announced to the time they were released was maybe like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So they came out on the 18th, and they were packaged as Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which is, you know, pretty much everybody's favorite 3D Mario games that weren't Mario Odyssey.
Exactly. There's this, in this little package, there's something for everybody, you know?
Yeah, and so I want to know, how excited were you when you heard about this announcement?
Oh, absolutely pumped, because all 3 of these games were a huge role in my childhood growing up. Obviously, I had a 64. The first video games I played with my parents was the 64, and it was Mario 64, so this is a nice little throwback. Mario Sunshine played on the GameCube, and then, of course, everyone's played, if you've played Mario, you've played Mario Galaxy on the Wii, which is an absolute masterpiece.
And I think that the first time you even heard about this announcement was on the Gentoo radio show.
It was. Shout out KZLX, the Gentoo radio show, every Tuesday at noon.
Tuesday at noon. That's a great time. if you don't have anything to do, Tuesday at noon. You can hear some Eurobeat.
Tune on in. Yeah, great music.
Some great music. But back to the game. Do you wish the games had received upgrades beyond just their resolution, or are you just happy to have them on the Switch?
I'm honestly just happy to have them. Honestly, the things that everybody doesn't like about them, not everybody, but the terrible camera, the trying to like angle your jumps correctly is still part of the game. It's out of your control sometimes.
Yeah.
So like running sideways like that, like I just did, like I just failed twice, obviously, but it's part of the fun, being able to be like doing the same thing 3 times and it not working twice, but then it works the 3rd time.
Yeah, because especially for people like speedrunners, you know, you don't want this game to be way different than it like already is.
Exactly.
Because
I'm not sure
it changes like strats and everything it was way different from how it was before. So
exactly.
They want to keep it the same for those people, and I feel like, well, I know like the Switch doesn't support 4K yet, so the best you're gonna get is 1080p anyway. But what?
I don't know, just another 64 thing, man. Just slid down a staircase. It is what it is.
The gravity is hitting you real bad. But so, yeah, I mean, I feel like seeing Mario, like even if they just like changed his sprite or any of those textures, it'd just be weird, you know?
Yeah,
especially like with 64, where it's such a
already like such a classic just to look at and see.
Exactly, and like when people want these old Mario games back, they want them the exact way they played them before. Like, that's how I prefer them, at least. I wouldn't want them to be changed at all because we love these games the way they were, and when they get ported over to the new things like the Switch, the new consoles, I want them to be virtually identical, the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, brother, just like this big fella.
Oh, the big boss man.
Big boss man.
Which of these titles did you, when you first picked it up, did you say this is the game I'm going to play first? Like, it's my favorite.
It was 64, what I'm playing right now, without a doubt. Then it was Galaxy, then it was Sunshine. Definitely put more hours into Galaxy of the three. Damn. But I think this one is probably more the nostalgic way to go.
Yeah, see, like the thing for me is, when I was growing up, we had 64, but I was never like super interested in playing it. I don't know. I preferred to play the wrestling games that they had on Super Mario 64.
Oh, man.
And once in a while, I'd load up like Ocarina of Time and have no idea what I was doing for 30 minutes and decide I was tired of it and go play, God, it was one racing game. I can't remember what it was called. Fantastic racing game, I tell you what.
I wish I knew the name.
It was so good. I have erased the name of it from my memory.
Gone forever.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then like Super Mario Sunshine, once again, I had no clue what I was doing, so I'd play it for a little bit. I'd watch my brother play it, and that was about it. But Galaxy was the first like 3D Mario game I was like, this game's crazy, you know?
It really is crazy, from even the music and the environments. Everything about that game is really, really well done. But to be honest, man, I think I'm picking 64 over it.
Yeah, well,
just for pure nostalgic vibes.
And I'm even somebody who like, I don't exactly love motion controls.
Yeah.
So like, the motion controls in Galaxy were subtle enough that I wasn't like, God, this feels like such a chore just to do all these things. Like I'm not trying to have a workout while I'm playing this game right now.
It's crazy I know we're talking a lot about Galaxy while we're playing 64, but the like level of difficulty between the levels in that, there were some that were just absolute, like some of the hardest levels I've ever played in a Mario game. Then there were some that were just like a cakewalk.
And actually, so I remember, as we talked about before, that 3D All-Stars is only going to be available until March 31st of next year. And after that, you'll no longer be able to purchase it digitally, and no new physical copies will be made anymore. So do you have any idea why Nintendo might be doing this?
I have no idea. Maybe it's just to get buyers to like frantically just get it while it's out now. Honestly, I can't recall the last time this happened before, where a game would come out and they're like, well, get it while you can.
Well, see, they're doing that, and they're also coming out with Mario 35, which we did talk about a little bit on last week's show, which is going to be, you know, it's coming out, and it's like Super Mario Battle Royale, but after the end of March, you know, it's gone. You can never play it again, so... I mean, you can be like, wow, dude, I'm crazy good at this game, you know, I love playing it, it's a whole lot of fun, and then it's like, nah, you don't get to play it anymore.
And then it doesn't matter how good you were, it's gone.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just like Nintendo needs to move a bunch of units before a certain date, and that's why they're doing it.
Maybe, I don't know.
But, I mean, well, if you want the game that bad, you'll get it, and if you still want it after then, maybe you can like find it on eBay. Yeah, I'm sure like April 31st, there will be copies of this game for like $600.
It would not surprise me if there were just, oh, here we go, you ready for this? Oh my God. Ah!
Oh!
Okay.
Dude, look, you're on a Lego.
It is a giant Lego.
And then now you're on the moon sand. It's like everybody's like favorite toys playing up, and then now there's squirting ketchup at you.
It looks so good, doesn't it?
Oh, tasty.
Spraying Tabasco sauce at me.
But so, did you play Super Mario Galaxy, or not Galaxy, did you play Super Mario Odyssey when it released in 2017?
Oh, yeah.
And do you want a sequel of that?
I'm not sure a sequel. That game is already enormous. There's like so much to do. Like, I don't know the exact number. I want to say it was like, actually, I don't want to say anything, maybe 500 moons or some crazy thing like that. But there's a whole thing, if you get them all, there's an extra level at the very end where you have to beat a bunch of bosses. But I think if they want to do another game like that, I would just hope they don't do it like I remember the Mario Galaxy 2. It's like the same thing as Mario Galaxy.
But it was still a good game.
It was still good. It was still a good game because Mario Galaxy was a good game. So of course it's going to be good when it's the exact same.
But Odyssey was a good game.
Odyssey was a fantastic game. So maybe I would enjoy a sequel. I'd probably pay for it. I'd probably get it, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy that game, and I think more games like that would be good. I like the way they changed Because I don't know how they keep doing it. They just keep adding new ways to play Mario. It's the same thing, same goal, but just different ways of doing it. And
I really enjoy how well they're able to, like, not only of course have the 3D elements, but then like you'll be able to play some classic like Mario 2D platforming levels within like Odyssey, and I think even like Galaxy and stuff like that. So I think it's cool that they're
like the old 8-bit you can get.
Yeah, that they're able to just like switch between those so seamlessly.
It's showtime.
Uh-oh. Speaking of big bosses.
Yeah, you know who really had a glow up since when this game came out was Bowser. He looks not intimidating at all here. He looks like a plush toy you get at Chuck E. Cheese.
Well, I mean, it's at least better than. Oh, they changed the voice line. They changed the voice line. So now when Mario used to toss Bowser, he'd say, "So long, Bowser," but now he just says, "Bye-bye."
We'll see if I can hit any of these throws.
Yeah, you hit him with the atomic.
I'm gonna hit him with a German suplex.
The German suplex. Take him to Suplex City. Bowser Lesnar.
Throw him! Oh my.
That was terrible. That was terrible, Cade. What are you doing?
I'm not. I'm trying. I'm gonna get him. Come on, baby.
We'll see if you can get one last toss in before we wrap the show
up.
No! This week for Project Delta, I'm Dalton Speece, and with me was
Cade Cox.
And we will see you next week.